Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nikno Parabakis Bintini Muhammad Al-Hafiz. I am from the student from SMK Balai Besar Dungun Terengganu. Today, I am going to tell you a story about my favorite patriotic personality. On 31st August 1957, the New Straits Times newspaper proudly printed the front pages of their newspapers with the title "From Playboy to Malaya First Prime Minister." The journey of Tunku Abdul Rahman Patel Haj to be the #1 leader of the tough one. He is my favorite patriotic personality. Tunku Abdul is a person who does not like to write a special occasion. He is also less comfort living in the palace. He enjoys spending time on the field playing the ball with his friend. He received his early education at Sekolah Rendah Melayu in Jalan Baharu, Alaska. In 1950, at the age of 12 years old, he attended Penangri School, and at the age of 60 years old, he went on to St. Country College at University of Cambridge. In 1925, he earned a Bachelor of Law degree from Cambridge University. At that time, Tunku only passed 3 papers out of 4. Due to his sufficient approval, he failed to obtain the necessary approval. Tunku returned to Malaya in 1931 with a very embarrassment, so that the family looked at what happened to him as an embarrassing act of the palace. Despite the embarrassment the government's scholarship received, Tunku allowed him to be appointed cadet position in the Kedah Public Service Department. Tunku liked his new responsibility because he liked the responsibility. He works hard and more seriously runs the trams. Thanks to the effort, he was promoted to district officer in Siber Kedah district after frequently being changed because of his temperament that was not afraid of questioning his top official. After the end of the World Second War, the local political movement began to experience the rise and discussion of negotiation against the proposed promotion of Malaya Union began to become a public conversation. Tunku also got the opportunity to give public speeches about his views as his position allowed him to meet the public. Arrived, Tunku decided himself to retake the bar exam at Britain for the second time so that it could take a bigger government structure. Thankfully, we are as he passed, and it is illegal to be brown. Despite this, his career suffered a decline after being appointed deputy public prosecutor. In contrast to his experience as a district officer, proved vastly closer to his soul. The field saw himself his community. Tunku Abdul Rahman's position and his practitioners are as district officer, assisted by good educational approval made him a high caliber in the Kedah community, especially the UMNO, who was recently established several years, appointed him to be the influence of UMNO branch Kedah. His career as a lawyer began to grow after being invited by Foster Sultan. Tunku began to engage directly in legal case. Thanks to his competence, Tunku was promoted to presidential holder of High Court Selangor. Communist attacks forced UMNO to widen their political struggle agenda, fostering harmonious spirit and firming the interracial divide that is the composition of the city, not merely for the Malays. In 1951, Dato On Jafar, the founder of UMNO, quit. It was time to retreat because he believed UMNO should have opened its membership to all races. Finally, Dato On ousted UMNO and established a new party called Malaya Independence. The three proposed names are Dato On as the UMNO president, Tun Abdul Rahman and Tun Abdul Razak. Tunku Abdul Rahman was persuaded by Abdul Razak himself. Eventually, he agreed to accept UMNO's presidency because Abdul Razak felt that the experience available to Tunku Abdul Rahman was more respected and able to unite the Malays in their struggles. One of the most important steps is to establish cooperation between the third party that represent only certain races. Tunku Abdul Rahman Putalahat way differs from the way that the Anjapa wants all races to unite under one party. So Sisi at that time believed that independence should be supported by leaders representing algorithms that dating from the party representing their respective races. The process of independence is not easy. The alliance also gained opposition from Dato' On Jafar himself, as well as a skeptical society with the comparison between the Malays and the different parties. In 1950, Tunku Abdul Rahman proved his influence and competition with the leaders of the Alliance Party to win the general election, which allowed him to be appointed Chief Minister of the Malayan government. This proof itself now is the mandate and voice of the people who want independence from the British. Discussions, for the sake of discussions, were also conducted between all representatives of the Malaya government and the British in the 2 years before Malaya's success in independence on 31st August 1957. Tunku Abdul Rahman, who admired himself to playing around and learning as well as very pleasure in living a majestic stand lifting hands, declared independence with the three-time patronage of Merdeka, Merdeka, Merdeka. This marks the independence of our country, just as what Tunku dreamed of without bloodshed, and all happened in the way of negotiation. This is a story about a patriotic figure that I deeply admire. His efforts and his team, our country achieved independence. Now, it's been 63 years of our country of independence. So let us take care of our country's independence so that our country continues to progress peacefully and peacefully. Some of my stories are giant patriotic figures I admire. Thank you.